What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. It is the start of the cricketing summer for West Indies. We are hosting South Africa in West Indies this summer, starting with two tests. The first test, of course, in St. Lucia at the Darren Sammy Stadium in Grozile. And the second test will be played in the same stadium, starting today. The teams are out. The teams are out. The West Indies team, more importantly, is out, and there's a bit of shock. I wouldn't necessarily say controversy, but definitely shock in the selection, which I'm gonna bring up for you just now. And I'm not. The proof will be in the pudding, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too happy. I'm not too happy. As the title says, Hope is back. Shai Hope has returned to the West Indies playing 11 to West Indies squad. We know he went through a very rough patch for form, and he returned to form. You know, he's played in a few ODIs. He's played well. We had an inter squad game as a warm up for this Test series, and he played pretty well. He got 79 in the first innings, and he scored 106 in the second innings. And when you're putting up those numbers and you add to the fact that West Indies have been struggling, we've been struggling to find an opening partner for Craig Brathwaite. I'm not too surprised. There was always rumors flying around that he was going to come in as an opener. Of course, his primary position has been number 3 or 4 in the order. But the position that we need is an opening batsman. Nkrumah Bonner, Kyle Mayers in the middle order, they've been batting well. So I'm not too surprised that he's actually come in the opening order. There was some rumors just before the test that Kieran Powell, who obviously used to play for West Indies a few years ago, there was a lot of talk about how he should be possibly taking the place of Gale when he retires. That never actually happened. He went away. He was playing basketball at one point. He also played in this inter-squad game. Made 22 in the first innings, and then he made 95 in the second innings of the match, which they ended up winning. So there was rumors about whether he should be or could be starting in this match. As it's turned out to be, he's not in the squad. Sorry, he's not in the team. Of course, he's still in the squad, but he's not in the team. And Shai Hope will be opening, which means that Nkrumah Bonner keeps his position. That was the rumor that possibly he would not be starting. Big up Ryan in the chat. We had a bit of discussion earlier on Twitter about Nadal, Federer, Djokovic. When the Roland Garros is over, we're going to be touching back on the tennis. Obviously, we had a bit of a chat about it in our podcast, which was released this morning. So you can go and check that out, talking about Federer, Serena Williams. But back to the cricket. So this is the lineup we've gone with. Obviously, here they've done it in order of alphabetical order, but I'll do it in terms of the lineup. So it will be Craig Brathwaite and Shai Hope as the opening batsman, and Nkrumah Bonner at 3. Kyle Mayers at 4. Blackwood, the vice captain, at 5. Joshua De Silva at 6. Roston Chase at 7. Then we've got Cornwall, Roach, and the debutant Jayden Seales. So we'll get on to Jayden Seales in a second. The other big selection choice was that of Roston Chase. Now, for me, I like Roston Chase. I like the fact that he's been called up. I think he deserves to be called up. And when I say he deserves to be called up, his numbers ain't been great. But what he does offer, is the fact that he is a competent bowler. He's a good batsman, competent bowler, competent batsman, and a good fielder. I think overall he offers something to the game. He offers enough in all aspects. Now you look at someone like Raheem Cornwall, who's a specialist spinner, whose numbers haven't been great as a spinner. They're okay, they're good, but they're not great as a spinner. Um, you then look at his batting. Now his batting's better than I expected. He scored a couple half centuries in the last series against Sri Lanka. Good half centuries as well. His fielding is a very good catcher, but of course he's not very mobile. So he's limited in exactly what he can do in terms of on the field. So I do like Chase, and Chase has played some good lower order innings, whether it's to save a match or win a match, or whatever it might be, at the back end of it in the second innings. And I felt that getting rid of him was it was just too quick. And then he came up with 4 wickets in the inter-squad game, and I'm like, this is what he can offer. I know what he can offer. And he's been called up, but surprisingly, he's been called up in place of Alzarri Joseph. Now, I'm slightly disappointed. I know Shannon Gabriel, he's out with an injury. So Jaden Seals, as I said, we'll get onto him, who's been called up. But to go in with just one senior fast bowler and then the debutant in Seals and the all-rounder in Jason Holder, who I omitted from when I was saying the 11, he's coming in. That for me is a weak bowling attack. Now, are we expecting the pitch in St. Lucia to spin that much? I know we won the toss, we're batting first. Are we expecting to spin that much that we need 2 spinners? Craig Brathwaite, who can also spin the ball. We know, I think Blackwood, he can spin the ball. Are we really expecting to spin that much that we're going with 2 fast bowlers and an all-rounder, 1 senior fast bowler? I'm very, very surprised and somewhat disappointed that that Alzarri Joseph is in the squad. Because I think he is the future of West Indies bowling, West Indies attack. He didn't play in the intercity game, inter-squad game, which I'm not 100% sure why. So unless there's something I'm not aware of, injury, etc., as a reason why he's not in the squad, I am completely baffled. Actually, let me see if I can pull up some quotes from the match has just started. So Shea Hope and Craig Brathwaite opening. So if I pull up some quotes, I want to see what Brathwaite possibly had to say about bear with me, about the team. Let's see. No, I don't see anything from him. I don't see any quotes from Brathwaite regarding the 11, which surprises me because I think he kind of does have to answer to the fact that he's that Alzarri Joseph is in the squad. I think he does. On Jaden Seals, he's only played 1 first-class match. He played an intercity game. I think he got 4 wickets as well. But somewhat similar to Fidel Edwards, it reminds me, where he had played 1 first-class match. Brian Lara saw him in the 11, in the nets. Someone's doing a madness on my road. Yeah, saw him in the nets, and they said, yeah, that's enough. He is good enough to play for West Indies. If I can't deal with him in the nets, then nobody can deal with him. And they did it. They played him, and he got 5 wickets on his debut, Fidel Edwards. So you hope that Jaden Seals can have somewhat of the same impact. But I do think going with 2 spinners is not West Indies like. Not what I expected from West Indies per se. But Jaden Seals, I'm happy for him. Happy that he's got his opportunity, and hopefully, 19 years old from Trinidad and Tobago. Hopefully, he can make a big impression in this team. Looking forward to the rest of the series, we've got obviously the first test today. The second test starts on Friday the 18th, so that's next week Friday. And then after that, we have got 5 T20 matches before we start the Pakistan's tour. Pakistan come over and we start that series. Not Super Pakistan, sorry, Australia. Australia come over and we start that series. So it's two test matches, 5 T20s. Of course, we know we've got a T20 World Cup coming up as well, so they're obviously going to be preparing for that. But we just hope that Jaden Seals can. We hope that Jaden Seals can have a good impact, and I mean, the more the merrier. We know that Shannon Gabriel. I mean, he's so injury prone. We can't rely on it. Like you go into a series and you can't rely on it. Sometimes you go into a test match and you can't even rely that he's going to get through the test match. So if we can have more options, we can have more depth within our fast bowling attack. I am all for it. I am all for it. Rabada is opening the bowling for South Africa. Shea Hope, he's on 4, just played a wild shot, missed the outside edge, right through to the keeper. I haven't actually spoke about that South Africa team, actually. Let me see what this comment here from Ryan. He goes, I actually hate the England cricket team and the type of players they bring into the team. Really? I think England, I mean, the England test team is average. I say average, actually. What they've got, who have they got? In terms of quality players. Rory Burns is all right. Rory Burns is all right. Obviously, Joe Root's world class. In a full strength side, the likes of Stokes will be there. I would take Ben Foulkes as the wicketkeeper. And Broad, Anderson, Archer. I think they've got some good players. But they've also got some crap. Like Sibley, I think he's poor. Rabada is cutting up hope at the moment. I think, yeah, Sibley's poor, Crawley's poor. They've always struggled around, getting some openers and number 3 batsman. Have they brought in someone else into the middle order? Ollie Pope, he's okay. I think their team's average. Or maybe just above average if we're going to keep it 100. We can't say West Indies are good and at the same time say England are terrible when England at Test cricket are clearly better than West Indies. Ngidi's opening the bowling with. I'm going to try. Let me bring out the South Africa team actually. Let's see, because I didn't pay any mind to them at all. And you know what? I was looking at the South Africa team recently against who did they play recently? Pakistan. They played Pakistan, and I was so disappointed because South Africa have always had a lot of world-class players. And I saw that team against Pakistan. I was like, where are the players? Where are the good players? It's so disappointing to see the South Africa side, which for me is a shadow of its former self. And a few South Africans were interacting with me in the chat, saying the same thing. The Cole pack, that's depleted the players available for them. I guess all the T20 franchises, that's another reason why players are going to go elsewhere. We know that they've got the quota issue. I say issue in South Africa because you should never need a quota. Players, everyone should have the same opportunity. But we know that through things like apartheid, etc., there's a lot of discrimination that happens in South Africa, which means black players in South Africa don't get given the same opportunity. Maybe not directly, as in excluded, but facilities in the areas that black people live are not the same or as high standard, and therefore given the same opportunity as the white people living in South Africa. So that's why the quotas had to be introduced. But even then, when that happened, yeah, you had players like Kevin Peterson who decided I'm going to go play for England or whatsoever. You had other white people from South Africa, likes of Trott, and there was a few others who were maybe born in that region who decided to play for England. Cool, but they still had quality players like a Rabada who came through, Hashim Amla, JP Dumini, um, Bavuma. He's been in and out of the squad. He's in the squad at the moment. Well, he's injured in this test, but generally he's in and around the squad. They've always brought through quality players overall. This squad is. I mean, I'll read it out for you. They've got Dean Elgar, who's the captain, Mark Cram, Van der Dussen, Veriani. I've never even heard that guy. Varane, maybe. Quinton de Kock, good wicketkeeper batsman. Maharaj, Mulder, Rabada, Ngidi, and Norte. Some talented players. Any of them world class? Would you call Rabada world class? If he is, then that's probably it. Like, they may well be. We have a very poor record against South Africa, and for me, this is probably our best opportunity in years, in decades, that we can get a result against South Africa in this series. You know, we win the toss today. If you get winning this match, then you're not losing the series. It's only a 2-match series. It's a poor side, but we still have to go out and do the job. But I can't speak like we've got a great team ourselves. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, isn't it? It'll be interesting. Sammy says, I thought this game was tomorrow. Nope, it's today. Right now, it's just started over here it's on BT in the UK. But yeah, started today. Started at 3 o'clock our time, so about 18 minutes ago. South Africa Test team from 2006 to 15 was legendary. They had a great team. You know, yeah, they went around the times of the Amlers and all that. They had the likes of Callis, for example. Great all-rounder. Great team, man. Dale Steyn, Mark Boucher. It's a poor side. We're going to keep it 100. It is a poor side. But, you know, for the sake of Test cricket, you want competition. You want good competitive cricket throughout. That goes for West Indies. That goes for South Africa, Sri Lanka. You know, every team has its time, we know. And New Zealand right now are one of the best sides in world cricket. And, you know, New Zealand's always had a good side. They've had a side that knows what they're good at and they stick to it. A lot of the times they didn't always have the X factor, but they had a good side and knew what they were doing. You know, like the odd player, the Shane Bonds, the Scott Styrises, there's a caught behind appeal. I don't think he touched it. Yeah, that was Rabada to Brathwaite. Yeah, they had the Scott Styrises, the Chris Cairns. They had some, you know, very good players. But as a team, they were just somewhere in the middle. Didn't get embarrassed, but didn't really set the world alight. And they go into those tournaments and they were often the dark horses. You know, if a team's going to go far, maybe they can do it. You know, West Indies were always a fair team because on our day, we could always beat anyone. Pakistan used to blow hot and cold with us, probably more hot than cold than us. But when we were hot, nobody could deal with us. Nobody. South Africa were known as the bottlers. They'll go deep into tournaments and then throw it away at the end because they had quality players, but they didn't have the mental strength of an Australia, for example. New Zealand were just in the middle. But right now, New Zealand are resurgent. Test cricket, they're playing good quality Test cricket. They're playing, obviously, they got to the World Cup final, which were very, very unlucky to lose that game on a count back on boundaries. Never heard anything like it in my life. But they're in the test final against India. They've got a good quality side now. I think the landscape of cricket right now is very balanced, actually. I would say it's very balanced. You know, you're obviously going to get Australians and Indias who keep churning out quality cricketers. But I think the gap, is actually, if you compare to, let's say, 10 years ago, I think the gap or the shift, the momentum shift is slightly moving. Pakistan's coming back up. New Zealand's rising. West Indies are rising. Sri Lanka's actually getting worse, to be fair. The Sri Lanka side is very, very poor. South Africa's very, very poor. So maybe not the gap is close. Yeah, I'll say it's changing. There's a bit of a shift in who's the one challenging the top sides, and that those top sides being India and Australia. So yeah, listen, guys, that's a little short preview for the series. The match is 20 minutes in. I'm gonna get back to work and watch the match as well. Keep an eye on the England New Zealand test as a New Zealand warm up for their World Test Championship final. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. And yeah, hopefully West Indies with this side, we can go out and put a good performance over these two matches and hopefully come away with a series victory heading into the T20 series after the second test. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you lot soon.